It can be super overwhelming when you see studies like in 2013 that said 9 out of 10 placentas were filled with microplastics. Or that you find out that the tampons you've been using for years have actually been releasing heavy metals into you. Or that spatula you've been using to cook your kids' eggs, plastic one, you know, the black one that's a little like crispy on the ends, that is leaching estrogens into your kids' food or into your food. And then you start to learn about these things and you're like, oh my gosh, everything in my home is trying to kill me. It can be super overwhelming to think like, oh my gosh, then I need to replace all these things right now. Detergents, utensils, pots, pans, coffee pots, or shampoo, everything. It can be super suffocating to think, I don't have maybe the finances to replace all these things at once. And that's the feeling. Once you learn about the environmental toxins, you're like, I have to get everything out immediately. This has to all go in the trash. I've been there. It has been a journey. As much as I hate that term, it has been a journey of reducing toxins in our home. So I get asked all the time, where do I even start? It's so overwhelming. Where do I begin? So I've decided to release a mini series on ways to reduce the toxins in your home, room by room, item by item, slow and steady. Or if you have the finances to do it all at once, more power to you. But for those of us on a budget who can't just go out and spend hundreds and really thousands of dollars on replacing all of the items in our homes that are toxic for us, this is the video series for you. I'm gonna try to keep these videos super short and sweet so that you can just have bite-sized information on where to start, and you can take this at your own pace. You can do one video a week and you follow the recommendations to remove the toxins, or if your budget only allows that, I can only do one a month. I can reduce one item in my house a month. Like, you can really just take this at your own pace. 3 different ways you can go about replacing all of the items in your home. So I'll just roughly mention this in every single part of the series. You can either buy them all brand new immediately and just, if you have the finances, great. Not everybody can do that. The second option is you can just replace things one by one. I mean, honestly, it's a cup of coffee, like sacrifice your Starbucks cup of coffee for $5 and buy a spatula that week. Sacrifice eating out that week with your family and cook at home and use the extra funds to buy new tongs that don't have plastic on them, or wood spoons. Like, these are all actually individually very affordable. We just have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit for them and sacrifice for our health. Totally worth it. And actually, you'll find out that like making coffee at home is so much more delicious. Option number 3 is thrift them. I mean, stainless steel is incredibly easy to clean, to sanitize, and they like honestly clean up super well. Like, if you find even a rusty stainless steel spatula at your thrift store, use copper and just clean it up, and it honestly is a super affordable way to do it. But today in this video, we're going to start in the kitchen with the most important items, and that starts with your cooking utensils. Most of us, I know I used to be this way, I had like 30 spatulas, not really. I had like 10 spatulas that were all plastic. That's got to go in the trash, or you can donate it to your kids' outdoor kitchen, but those have to go. I know it can be like, oh my gosh, I have to replace 10 spatulas or 7 spatulas. No, most of us have way too many utensils. Like, we do not need that many. We operate with 2 in our family and it does just fine. As you're thinking about this, the ways you need to replace the items in your utensil drawer or in your utensil vase, drastically reduce your inventory when you go to replace it. What do you replace it with? You replace it with stainless steel, wood, and sometimes silicone. The second items is your pans. Like I mentioned, Teflon, nonstick, trash. Immediately in the trash. You can go get a $300, $400, or $500 stainless steel pan set. You can do that. Or you can buy these pans one by one. You can go to Walmart and get an individual pan. Now, when you look at these items, you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna cost so much to replace my 30 pans that are in the cabinet. You don't need 30 pans. Like, so we have 4 pans and we have 1 Dutch oven. However many spots you have on your oven, like on your stovetop, is how many pans you need. You can go to Walmart, Amazon, and buy individual pans. And just think about like what pan you use the most to make eggs. You just need 1. Just wash it in between. It's not a big deal. You can thrift it. They're hella, like I said, many times you'll hear me say this a lot. They're very easy to sanitize and they're basically like brand new if you clean them up correctly. Are you looking for ways to include God in your everyday activities with your kids? I design coloring books that have Bible verses to coincide with the happy characters in them. If you would like to purchase, there's a link in the description and I really appreciate your support. Number 2 is your coffee pot. People are like, oh, this is on your first video, a coffee pot. Listen, most Americans drink multiple cups of coffee a day, and the coffee pots we are using are so incredibly toxic. Think about it. Say you just have a regular standard coffee pot. You put your water in a plastic basin in the back, and the way coffee pots work is that it sucks up and heats up the water through either a tube or it's maybe like a percolator where like the steam gathers on top of the plastic lid and then drips into the coffee area, which is then a big plastic coffee filter, and then it goes through the coffee filter super hot, releasing all those microplastics down into your plastic coffee pot and or sometimes it's glass coffee pot, but then it goes through that plastic, like it's plastic the whole way through. Throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. There are other options for you. The cheapest thing you can do right now is you can get a glass, like 100% glass and stainless steel French press. Easy peasy, you don't need filters, you just need hot water. That new stainless steel pot you got from the thrift store for $1.99, boil your water on that, pour it in the French press, and that's how you make coffee non-toxic. Make sure it's mold-free coffee, organic. You can also use a Chemex. You don't have to use the Chemex brand. We've tried the Chemex. We actually found that it's not efficient at all for people who drink multiple cups of coffee a day. It's also a huge waste of time. But you can do that if you like the art of pour over all the time because it's a glass basin. They also have, I think, stainless steel basins. What I have found, and actually we just replaced it a couple of months ago, is a Presto coffee pot. We have the black option. So this Presto, I really, really like it. And actually in the grand scheme of coffee pots, it's fairly affordable considering how many times we use it a day. But it's a percolator and the coffee filter area is stainless steel. No part of it touches plastic and I freaking love it. And it actually has a warming basin it rests on that like heats it up and then you lift it off and the basin stays there plugged in, if that makes sense. But we love that a lot. Also, just something to remember is that don't hate the messenger, hate the corporations that absolutely know these items are harming their customers and they're still selling them without remorse and gladly taking your money. So don't be mad at the messenger, be mad at the corporations. I hope this helped you. Let me know what you have decluttered in your home and replaced with a non-toxic item, and I will see you in the next episode of the series.